Hello and welcome back to Inside Indiana Business for this special all-women's edition of our show. I'm Lori LeRoy, Vice President of Communications at BioCrossroads. No doubt, Indiana has a robust life sciences industry, serving some 1,700 companies. AIT Bioscience is a research laboratory that performs analysis for biopharma drug development. At the helm is Terri Pascarelli, who's held leadership positions in life science companies from startups to Fortune 500 firms for more than 25 years. I'm pleased to welcome her to the show for our Business of Health segment. Welcome, Terri.
Thank you, Lori.
So, like I said, Indiana has a myriad of life sciences companies all over the state, employing some 56,000 people. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do at AIT.
Well, thank you for having me. AIT Bioscience is a contract research firm that supports biotech, pharmaceutical, and animal health companies who are researching possible new drugs and new therapies. We work with them throughout their R&D process.
Great. So you've worked at Fortune 500 and a lot of pharmaceutical giants as well as entrepreneurial companies. What was the biggest transition in going from a big company to what you're currently doing?
That's a fun question to think about. The foundation that gets laid when your early career includes some of those larger companies is really a very enriching one. They have the resources to do so many different things, to research or to refine operations in so many therapeutic areas. And the biggest challenge perhaps is coming out into an environment where you have to be very strategic about the use of resources and the development of people. You can't do everything that you would like to do in the time frame that you might. So you think differently about what is strategically going to help your company grow, how can you develop people and their careers. And there's something fun about figuring out how to grow using all those tools and ideas that you were trained on in a larger company.
Great. So what do you love most about your job and what you're doing right now?
I think it does come back to people. We're doing this wonderful business of science. So, Lori, our scientists are creating and then validating analytical tests that get used in laboratories every time one of the R&D compounds we're working on is being dosed to an animal in a toxicology study or to a person in a human clinical trial. So we're an extension of the R&D team of every client we work for. What a fascinating place to work and apply science in a very varied environment because every client's work is quite unique.
That's great. Again, just some more of the great innovation that's happening all over the state in the life sciences. Now let's switch directions a little bit. You're very involved both in local and national nonprofit associations and trade associations, particularly the Healthcare Businesswomen's Association. Why are those involvements so important to you?
Well, there are two things to think about there. One is at an individual level. When I first brought the Healthcare Businesswomen's Association opportunity into Indiana, and we founded a chapter going on 15 years ago, part of the impetus was to say there are so many growth companies in Indiana, but they are small and emerging. They're not going to have all the resources again at hand that perhaps I was used to and other people were used to from a large company. But as a community, how could we share, access, and help people to grow? So bringing an association like that together, especially to help women in the business of healthcare, meant that we could help them increase their career trajectory, explore new ideas, and get experiential learning that they could bring back to the job.
Great. I also know that you've been nationally recognized as a leader and CEO for biopharmaceutical companies. What's your leadership philosophy?
If I had to put a word or two to it, I would say situational leadership comes to mind. It's something I recall from early in career, and it seems to stay with me and be relevant all these years later. What is the need of the team, the individual, the circumstance that you're in, as opposed to coming at it from how do I think about the situation? It's less about me, it's more about what does somebody or something need from me.
That's a really great message. Thanks so much for joining us today, Terri, and letting us learn a little bit more about your company and what you do.
Thanks for having me on the show, Lori.